What's going on, guys? It's Elias. Welcome back to the channel. As you guys know, I've been taking this MX-5 all around Florida for about a week. We're at the end of our trip, and there's been 5 things that I found very annoying living with this car. So we're going to go over that in this video and let you guys know what those are. Now, by no means do I hate this car. I love the MX-5. I'm actually considering getting one day. I want to fit it into my lineup somehow. I love this thing a lot, but there are 5 things that should be improved on so that this car can get better. So let's go over what they are. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Hit that like button if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, and subscribe for more videos. So the first one I want to go over is honestly probably the worst one if you're going to use this car for a lot of highway stints. We did a lot of highway driving with this thing on I-75, on I-10, and really, I mean, right now, both this elbow and this elbow are bruised up from the lack of padding that there is on these elbow rests. Now, I'm not sure Mazda envisioned somebody will take this car on a 2,500 mile, 7-day road trip, but here we are. And honestly, all it would take is a little bit more padding right here and a little bit more padding here. Let me open the door for you guys. So a little bit more padding here will go a long way to fixing your left issue, and a little bit more padding right here would fix this issue. I mean, this is literally bruised. It's, you know, not a big deal. At the end of the day, I'm not surprised nor upset by it, but it is an issue. I'm going to put the top up for this next problem, because on the highway, while you can have the top down, it is way too noisy and way too uncomfortable. So you put the top up, especially if you're going on a 4-hour stint on the highway, you're going to get sunburned. You put the top up and you expect a little bit of shielding, and you do get shielding from the sun and shielding from the rain, but what you don't get is shielding from the sound. So right here, right there, there's a ton of wind noise, and if you notice, right there is very close to your ear. And anything above 60 miles an hour, this thing is way too noisy. I mean, the amount of noise that this thing puts out at 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, you basically almost can't have a conversation inside the car. Talking to my wife on the way, you know, we're looking at properties and we're arguing about what we like and what we don't like and debating, and we never yell at each other, but because the car was so loud, we had to yell at each other so we can hear each other. It is that loud. I took a bunch of phone calls, and I do like the fact that there's a speaker right on the backrest, and I can hear just fine. But in order for the other side to hear me, I wasn't sure they could, so I had to slow down to about 60 miles an hour. If you guys know Florida roads, it's a 70 mile an hour speed limit, and the noise levels were just through the roof. I was so surprised at how bad it was. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but I don't remember my S2000 being that loud on the street or on the highway, and I've taken that on many road trips, and I really wasn't as fatigued from the sound as I was in this thing. Now, is it a deal breaker? I don't think so, but there's a few other things I would like to see improve. The next one is the shifter quality, right? So you get in a sports car, and maybe I'm spoiled because I have a 7 Type R and an S2000, but you expect the shifter quality to be very good. Now, I'll go ahead and open this here so you guys can see. Shifter quality in this thing is okay. It's livable. It's not bad. It is very doable. Unfortunately, though, it's not as crisp as you'd like it to be. It's kind of clunky, I guess is the word, and it's not as inspiring as it should be to be driving an MX-5 through these back roads and bombing through some swamplands, you know, some back roads and swamplands. It should be, you know, you should be wanting to shift as much as you can. And while I still liked it, that should be improved. So the final one for the interior, so as you can see, most of my gripes have been in the interior, is, you know, you have a great connector, right? So you can plug in your phone, it has Android Auto, and it has Apple CarPlay, which is amazing. Unfortunately, there's no real place to put your phone, so you plug it in, right? And then when you're shifting it, it disconnects. Sometimes you snag it, you unplug it, this thing flies out, ends up in here. You know, so while there's a little cubby hole in here, it's not really big enough for most phones, right? So then if you put it in here and it doesn't fit, right? So then you end up having to put it, you know, either here, just kind of flopped around right there, or put it in here and you forget about it. It's my same complaints in the C8 Corvette. There's no real place to put a phone, and you end up putting it in the cubby hole in the back, and then you forget about it, and so you're running around with a phone, and you're like, oh crap, I have to make a phone call. Oh, I don't have my phone. Gotta go back to my car. And there it is. So, that's the last of it. I still love the interior. I love the way everything feels, everything falls to hand. I love the manual e-brake. That has to come back. Honda, if you're listening, please bring this back to your cars. This final one, I think, is more of a missed opportunity than anything. So here we're looking at the 2-liter, 155 horsepower engine that Mazda ND1 has. The ND2 Mazda MX-5 has a 180 horsepower 2-liter engine, which revs higher. So it goes a long way to fixing the issue that I have with this Miata. This is number 5. This is the 5th issue that I have. This powertrain is extremely uninspiring. You know, you rev it out, it doesn't sound that good. It's not that revvy. It doesn't inspire you to rev it out at all. It really just, you know, when you're revving it out, it feels like you're almost punishing it for no reason. It's one of the things that, especially in the beginning, took some time to get used to. Now, you get over all of that. The car itself is amazing, even with its lower power. The car is really, really fun. Its simplicity is really good. But I think the missed opportunity here is one of two things. They should do either a Mazda Speed MX-5 with a supercharger. Just add a supercharger next to it. Or, just like they did with the Fiat's version, there's a Fiat version of this out with a 1.4 liter turbo. Maybe do a 1.5 liter turbo. From what manufacturer, you might ask? Well, from Honda. Honda's 1.5 liter turbo from the Civic Si would probably fit in really nicely in here, and it would get you to 200 horsepower easily. Now, tuners like you and I would take that and ramp it up quite easily with a K-tuner or a Honda to 250 horsepower. 250 horsepower in a vehicle that weighs, let's say it'll weigh 2,500 pounds versus the 2,400 pounds that this weighs, would be a hoot. You know, in the Civic Si, weighs around 2,800 pounds. This thing weighing 2,500 pounds with a 1.5 liter turbo would make it a screamer of a car. I think everyone would line up to buy it. I think it will do 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds, which is more than fast enough, maybe even quicker than that if you tune it. And it'll be a riot at the track. It'll be a riot everywhere you go. It'll be an awesome car. Further, if you don't want turbo, they should do a collaboration with Honda. So they did a collaboration with Fiat, and they brought out the Fiat version, which is okay, not really my style. But can you guys imagine what this would be with a little bit more Honda style in it? So maybe flare it out a little bit, make it look like the S2000, put in the 1.5 liter turbo, possibly the 2 liter turbo from the Type R. That would be incredible, and make this car a screamer of a car. As it is, the simplicity is awesome. The engine is simple. It's great to drive. It's fun to drive. I'm not really, it wouldn't deter me from buying one of these. But can you imagine if they partnered up with Honda and changed out the power plant and transmission to a Honda power plant and transmission? We all know Honda makes the best 4 cylinders and the best manual transmissions for those 4 cylinders. So with that partnership, I think Mazda would kick it out of the park. It would just be the best car that you would ever. I would buy that immediately, right? Maybe some slightly larger brakes in order to deal with that extra power. It'll be, like I said, it'll weigh a little bit more, but it'll be an awesome car. So really, the power and the sound that this engine makes is just not inspiring at all. It feels like you're driving a Mazda 3, right? And a Mazda 3 is good, it's fun, it's a great car, but when you're driving around in a sports car, especially that looks as good as this does, you want something that'll actually inspire you to drive it. Alright guys, so there you have it. There's the 5 things or maybe 6 things that I found annoying the MX-5 after driving it for 2,500 miles and during a week, 1 week long road trip. It was an awesome trip. but there's things that can be done to improve this, and it's not that much. I think Mazda probably has improved a little bit of a few of these things on the MD2 Miata, but I think the elbow rest needs to be looked at, and some of the infotainment stuff has to be looked at, some of the storage options have to be looked at, the noise level has to be looked at, and this car will really, really benefit from a Honda engineering team going over it and improving it here and there, just giving it the Honda touch, making this, they should call it the Honda S2000 and sell it as a Honda with the upgraded engine. What do you guys think about that? I would definitely buy one. I think you guys would buy one too. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know what you think about the video. If you liked it, if you didn't, let me know. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.